Some villains kill, others enjoy it. In Bleach, cruelty has many faces, and none of them are merciful. Before we dive into the most sadistic minds in Soul Society, subscribe and turn on notifications. Trust me, you don't want to miss this list. Let's begin. Starting off at number 6, we have Shielaporo Granz, the mad scientist of Hueco Mundo. Sayel doesn't fight. He experiments. Introduced during the Espada invasion arc, this Arrancar isn't content with just defeating enemies. He needs to study them, dissect them, break them. And in the process, he delivers one of the most unsettling battles in all of Bleach. His lab? A torture chamber disguised as a research center. His fraction? Modified hollows, puppets he's hollowed out and rebuilt like meat dolls. But it's not until he faces Renji and Uryu that we see how far he'll go. His resurrection, Fornicaras, turns his body into a living virus. He enters his opponent's body through a drop of liquid and multiplies inside them, tearing them apart from within. And when he really wants to savor the pain, he uses Gabriel, a move that lets him impregnate his victim and be reborn through their corpse. Yes, he kills you by being born out of you. But the most haunting moment comes when he traps Renji and Uryu in an endless loop of puppet dissection, stabbing, slicing, repairing, repeating, over and over, for science. Sayel isn't just a sadist, he's surgical. His cruelty is precise, clinical, and deeply personal. Every scream is data. Every death? A test result. He finally meets his end at the hands of Mayuri Kurotsuchi, a man even more twisted than him. Sayel is drugged into experiencing a moment of death stretched into centuries. Time dilated so far, he begs for release before the blade even touches him. Irony? Sayel dies the exact way he lived, trapped in a nightmare he can't escape. At number 5, we descend into fear with Esnot of the Sternritter. He doesn't scream, he whispers, and what he spreads isn't death, it's dread. When the Wandenreich invades Soul Society, Esnot isn't the loudest or the strongest Quincy, but he's the one who leaves the deepest scars. His shrift? F, for fear. And it's not a metaphor. With a single shot from his reishi thorns, he infects the nervous system. Victims hallucinate their worst nightmares, feel their organs rot, imagine bugs crawling through their eyes. It's psychological warfare rendered physical, terror so intense, the body starts breaking before the first blow lands. When he faces Byakuya, the stoic captain of Squad 6, the fear toxin hits hard. Byakuya doesn't just lose, he panics. For the first time in the series, the ever-calm noble screams. Screams. That's how deep Ez cuts. But it gets worse. During the second invasion, Esnot evolves, becoming something inhuman. With his Volstendig, he grows wings of thorns and a halo of eyes. A gothic angel of agony. He calls it the mercy of God, a cruel joke from a man who revels in watching souls collapse. When Rukia confronts him, it's not just a rematch, it's payback. Her newly mastered Sode no Shirayuki brings her body to near absolute zero, numbing her senses, making her immune to fear. She freezes him solid, ending the nightmare. But even frozen, his mouth moves, still trying to infect her with one last whisper of dread. Esnot doesn't kill for power. He kills to watch people unravel. His victories are measured in psychological fractures, not corpses. The devil doesn't always shout. Sometimes he murmurs. At number 4, we find the most terrifying thing in Bleach, wearing a captain's uniform. Mayuri Kurotsuchi isn't a villain in the traditional sense, but don't let the rank fool you. He's not here to protect lives. He's here to study them, dismantle them, weaponize them. His morality? Conditional. His mercy? Lab-tested. From the Soul Society arc onward, Mayuri operates on a different wavelength. During his fight with Uryu, he casually admits to using the Quincy's grandfather as a test subject, alive, for years. When he's cornered, he liquefies into goo and escapes. When he's bored, he upgrades his own daughter with explosives. His bankai, Konjiki Ashisogi Jizo, a grotesque baby-faced caterpillar that vomits poison in a 200-meter radius. The antidote? Only Mayuri has it. He's not just immune, he's laughing while everyone else suffocates. But his most sadistic moment? That comes when he fights Sayel Granz. Mayuri wins not by strength, but by making Sayel experience time at 1,000,000th speed. Imagine dying for centuries, paralyzed, while the scalpel hovers above your eye. That's Mayuri's version of a lesson. He doesn't just neutralize enemies, he tortures them in ways they don't have words for. And if a subordinate dies in the process, he'll rebuild them. Better, colder, more obedient. And yet, Soul Society keeps him on the payroll. Because sometimes you need a monster who knows where the bodies are buried. Because he put them there. Mayuri isn't a rogue. He's institutionalized evil, cruelty in a lab coat, sanctioned by bureaucracy. Crashing in at number 3 is Yami Largo, Espada number 0, and Hueco Mundo's personification of rage. Yami isn't subtle, he doesn't plan, he smashes, and when he finally releases his ira, he becomes the biggest Espada. Literally. His power grows with his anger, and by the time the Karakura battle hits its peak, he's the size of a skyscraper with the temper of a toddler denied dessert. But what makes Yami more than just a blunt instrument is how casually cruel he is. He crushes his own allies when they get in his way. He laughs while stomping on corpses. During his entrance in the fake Karakura arc, he incinerates a medic team midair just for existing. Unlike the other Espada who at least feign philosophy, Yami doesn't pretend. He's pure ID. Every punch, every roar, every building leveled, it's all instinctual. And the bigger he gets, the less he thinks. His transformation isn't just physical, it's psychological. By the end, he's little more than a rampaging beast with a grudge against the sky itself. But here's the twist. For all his brute force and destruction, Yami is treated like an afterthought. The captains who take him down, Byakuya and Kenpachi, don't even flinch. To them, he's an annoying mess to clean up. And that's the cruel joke of Yami Largo. He sees himself as a god. Everyone else sees a tantrum with legs. He's the kind of sadist who kills not because it means anything, but because nothing does. At number 2, we enter the cold symmetry of Jugram Haschwalth, the stern Ritter Grandmaster, and the balance itself. Haschwalth doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't taunt. His cruelty is mathematical, clean. He serves Yawak not with passion, but with conviction. And that's what makes him dangerous. He believes in divine judgment, and he enforces it with precision so brutal it feels surgical. His shrift, B for balance, allows him to redistribute misfortune, redirecting all damage, failure, or bad luck away from himself and onto others. In battle, that means your lucky dodge becomes your final mistake. But on the battlefield of ideology, it's even darker. When Uryu Ishida is chosen as Yuwak's successor, Haschwalth plays the long game, watching, testing, manipulating. He never questions the throne. He ensures it. And when the time comes to enforce that order, he doesn't hesitate to cut down comrades, burn loyalty, and sacrifice pawns. The peak of his sadism comes during the second invasion. A subordinate stumbles in failure. Haschwalth's response? A clean strike, no warning, no emotion. He believes in order, and to him, that means erasing weakness before it spreads. But it's not mindless obedience. It's belief. Jugram chooses cruelty because he believes the world demands it. That suffering is structure. That pain is necessary for balance. He's the man who hands out death sentences like they're budget reports. And when the scales tip, he's always holding the blade. Next, at number 1, the architect of betrayal. The god behind the curtain, the one who made everyone bleed for his boredom. And at number 1, Sosuke Aizen, the smiling executioner of Soul Society. No villain in Bleach ever played the long game like Aizen. He wasn't just stronger. He was always 10 moves ahead, captain of the 5th Division by title, but a god in the making behind the scenes. While everyone else followed laws, Aizen rewrote them, starting with reality itself. His sword, Kyoka Suigetsu, doesn't cut. It deceives. Complete hypnosis triggered by sight. Once you've seen it released, you can never trust your own senses again. North becomes south. Friends become enemies. Death comes while you're saluting. But it's not just the power. It's how he uses it. He fakes his own death, manipulates captains, lieutenants, and espada alike, murders his superior with a smile, and when he finally reveals himself, he doesn't gloat. He ascends. Slowly, smugly, above a world he sees as beneath him. Aizen's sadism is pure art. He doesn't need to lift a finger to ruin you. He makes others do it, believing it was their own will. He warps trust, corrupts loyalty, and builds monsters, only to discard them when they bore him. The worst part? He rarely raises his voice. He doesn't rage. He explains your downfall politely right before it hits. Gin, Tosin, the Espada, even Ichigo. They're all pawns, played and discarded. And he's not wrong about it. When he fuses with the Hogyoku, he reaches true godhood. Immortal, regenerating, untouchable. And still, his cruelty grows colder. He fights not to kill, but to teach you how hopeless it is to resist. Even sealed, bound in Muken, strapped to a chair for eternity, he smiles. Because deep down, Sosuke Aizen is still winning. He didn't just betray Soul Society, he made it beg for his return. They didn't just fight, they enjoyed the suffering. Who's the most sadistic villain in Bleach? Tell us below. And if you love dark anime breakdowns, subscribe to Nonagon. More twisted minds await.